Okay, can you explain the organizational structure of the cheerleading team?
So for the cheer team, we're required to try out each year, and each year after tryouts, the head coach Brown will put you on a team, either JV or varsity. There are different coaches for both teams, and each team practices in the same place, but it's pretty separated because varsity takes the front half of the gym, and JV takes the back half, basically. And then JV and varsity both cheer different sports, except for we all do football home games, but varsity travels. And then varsity has men's basketball. But JV is required to do home football, volleyball, baseball, gymnastics, women's basketball, and travel for tournaments with them, and occasionally a swimming and diving meet.
After observing cheer practices and interviewing members of the team, we realized that there is an organizational problem of lack of team cohesion and unity between JV and varsity, leading to poor motivation.
Can you explain why you feel a sense of divide on the team?
Well, I think it mostly comes from the division between JV and varsity, where we practice separately together. They don't really talk to us while we're practicing, don't give us very helpful tips, hints, whatnot. I think that mostly arises from the coaches.
Like Richie said, conflicts arise from the coaches splitting team members into JV and varsity. This creates relationship conflicts which occur when there is perceived incompatibility between group members and typically includes tension, annoyance, and animosity between people. This has a negative effect on group satisfaction and commitment and has a negative effect on the quality of group decisions.
Can you describe any issues you've encountered with the team dynamics during your time with the cheerleading team?
Yes, I would say this year was worse than last year, but there's always been a divide between JV and varsity. It always seems like varsity is always getting all of the incentives. They always get what they deserve from being on the team, from seniority and whatever, especially with our fundraising and everything we do. So we'll have parties where we rent out bars, and then we'll have our cocktail at the end of the year. But all of the money that we raise goes to the bar tab, and only those that are 21 and up can use the bar tab. They also have made us sell calendars in the past, which everyone has to sell a certain amount of calendars, but then all the money that they make from the calendars goes to seniors to buy textbooks. And again, they say oh, it'll be fair because when you're a senior, you'll get the money. But I just don't think that that incentivizes people to do the fundraising that year until their senior year when they're actually going to be receiving the money.
The divide between junior varsity and varsity creates a hierarchical structure and groupthink while preventing psychological safety. This means that the team lacks the safe environment for risk-taking and willingness to offer ideas. Instead, they conform to decisions, deterring the group from critical appraisal. In order to better this issue, the team must first improve upon team development through forming, identifying goals of the team, storming, addressing differences, norming, recognizing obligations, performing, and soaring, offering honest feedback. When people feel safe raising questions, asking for help, admitting mistakes, or expressing dissent, groups make better decisions. Also, because a hierarchical structure exists between the members of the team, the age and year of the team member is more important than the overall talent of the cheerleader. This creates inequities, poor motivation, and poor attitudes within the organization. In order to increase motivation, the coach and team captains must look at the EPO and expectancy theory, create goal setting, and introduce rewards. The EPO theory is the belief that the link between effort, performance, and outcome exists. If I put in effort, I will succeed. If I perform, I will get rewarded. And yes, I value the outcome. The expectancy theory states that motivation arises from expectancy, instrumentality, and valence. To increase this, the coaching staff must provide clear goals and expectations, facilitate task accomplishment, offer valued intrinsic and extrinsic outcomes, and ensure timely, appropriate awards. It is important to note that the goals must be SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, results-based, and time-specific. For example, the cheer team could set a goal as completing a new cheer with 3 tumbles and 2 flips by June 3rd. This will increase motivation and performance. In terms of rewards or incentives applied to strengthen and maintain behavior, we believe that the coaching staff must better the reward system, which is outlined in our recommendations. To keep rewards fair, however, there must be an equity theory, which clearly lacks in the cheer team. Some people enjoy the benefits while those who put in work do not receive any. If inputs and outputs were instead balanced, there would be distributive justice, increasing motivation.
describe your level of commitment to the team and also to what level you feel valued by the team?
Okay, I kind of think these go hand in hand. Not that I'm not committed to the cheerleading team, because I'm obviously on the team and we spend a lot of time going to practices and weights and games and charity events and whatever else. But I also feel like you can't say that you get out of the team what you put into it, because there are people on the team that are kind of favored over others. So I would say I am less committed to the team than other people because I'm less valued. And that's not just because, like, I'm a junior and I joined the team late, so I'm not on varsity, or I wasn't on varsity this year, but I'm also a tumbler, so our coaches pay a lot more attention to the flyers and centers or whatever. But I would definitely feel like I'm on the end of that, like, less valued scale. There are some people that are, but personally, no, I do not feel as valued on the team, and that makes my commitment to the team probably lower than some others.
First, there are people on the team that are favored, leading to poor job attitudes. A job attitude that is particularly important in this example is organizational commitment, or the bond employees experience with their organization. Members who feel a connection with their organization generally feel that they fit in and understand the goals of that organization. Second, members lack effective commitment, meaning they are not emotionally committed. This is the best form of commitment and yields the highest results. So, this serves as a major issue that must be fixed. The leadership team must create a positive job attitude through developing organizational commitment, satisfaction, and engagement. They must also look to the job characteristics model using feedback, autonomy, skill variety, task identity, and task significance to further increase that motivation. To sum it up, positive job attitudes are important in order to create task performance, contextual performance, well-being, motivation, and satisfaction.
All right, are the coaches willing to consider differing opinions?
In my experiences, the coaches will like definitely listen to you and like sit down and talk with you, but it doesn't seem like any changes have been made to the program from any like complaints that have been voiced.
This is an example when seniors exhibit power which negatively becomes a leadership derailer, leading to self-serving attributions, in-group bias, and ideologies that favor seniors or the coach's quote-unquote favorites. The coach must increase his emotional intelligence because by not doing so, he's not understanding how emotions influence thinking or communication. In other words, he is not being receptive to the feedback that the cheerleaders offer. The management team must also become leaders, receptive to change and inspiring to the cheerleaders.
Are the coaches consistent with their styles of instruction?
Um, on JV, there's not really any individualized coaching. It's just kind of like a big cluster of people like trying to learn things. The JV coach Kurt, though, he is like a really good coach. Like you have to ask him for help though, but he will like sit down with you and like get you what you need to know. Now on varsity, Brown kind of only takes interest in like the kids that like pique his interest. He kind of plays favorites a little bit.
Perceptions shape the coach's judgments and behaviors through two facets: confirmation bias and halo effect. Confirmation bias demonstrates how people attend to information that supports decisions, beliefs, or choices, but discredits information that contradicts. Also, the halo effect is the tendency for overall impressions of others to affect objective evaluations of their specific traits. As a result of these two behaviors, the coach seeks information that fits, like how he only seeks the approval or praise of his quote-unquote favorites. He then only has good impressions of his favorites and views them in favorable terms. In order to fix these problems, we believe the cheer team should have a mentorship program, a formal checklist detailing provisions for JV to move up to varsity, and a reward system. This will increase camaraderie on the team, psychological safety, organizational commitment, and motivation. When team members are motivated, they contribute more to the productivity and performance of an organization. The reward system can include getting credit for going to extra events or be based off how much money you fundraise. This can then be outlined as a provision on the formal checklist. Given the cheer team is an organization that spends a great deal of time together, choosing to implement one or all of these strategies will help to improve the holistic team dynamic and overall productivity of the organization.